For privacy reasons, names and places have been changed. This story is inspired by true events.
On the evening of April 28, 2007, 20-year-old Jenna Whitcomb left her college library in a quiet Midwest town, a text sent to her roommate confirming she was on her way back to the residence hall. She never arrived. Despite an extensive, desperate campus-wide investigation involving constant searches, countless interviews, and scrutiny of every security camera, Jenna Whitcomb vanished without a trace from the seemingly secure heart of her university. For 18 long, agonizing years, her family and friends lived with an unbearable uncertainty, haunted by the profound question of what became of the bright, promising sophomore. Then, in the spring of 2025, a startling discovery was made in a small-town pawn shop. A laptop, wiped clean and seemingly anonymous, but irrevocably linked by its serial number to Jenna. This is the complete investigation into what happened to Jenna Whitcomb, a disappearance that baffled authorities for nearly 2 decades. Before we continue, let us know where you're watching from, and if you enjoy this content, consider liking and subscribing to our channel. Now let's continue. In the quiet college town nestled in the heart of the Midwest, the year 2007 painted a picture of youthful ambition and academic pursuit. Among the bustling students was Jenna Whitcomb, a 20-year-old sophomore whose presence radiated a vibrant energy. Her days were a familiar rhythm of classes, study groups, and the casual camaraderie of campus life. On the evening of November 14th, that rhythm continued undisturbed. Jenna, like many of her peers, found herself at the campus library, immersed in a late-night study session. The fluorescent glow of the reading room cast long shadows as the hours ticked past midnight. Around 12:15 a.m., as she gathered her belongings, Jenna sent a brief text message to her roommate, Nyla Trent. The 2 words, "on my way," were the last confirmed communication from Jenna Whitcomb. Her intended path was a familiar one, a short walk from the library across the sprawling campus quad to her residence hall. The college prided itself on its extensive CCTV system, designed to ensure student safety. Cameras were strategically placed, monitoring key pathways and building entrances. However, as Jenna stepped out of the library's view and began her journey across the quad, she entered a critical vulnerability in this network. There existed distinct gaps between the CCTV zones, stretches of pathway where the lenses could not reach. It was into one of these unseen corridors that Jenna Whitcomb walked. She entered the blind spot, and then she was simply gone. No further footage captured her, no witness saw her pass, and no other digital trace emerged. The following morning, an unsettling silence hung over the residence hall room. Nyla Trent awoke to find Jenna's bed empty, an unusual occurrence given their shared routines. Initial worry quickly escalated to a gnawing concern as calls to Jenna's phone went unanswered and text messages remained unread. By mid-morning, the growing unease compelled Nyla to report her roommate missing to campus authorities. The formal search for Jenna Whitcomb had begun. The report of Jenna Whitcomb's disappearance immediately mobilized campus security and local police. The urgency of a missing student, especially one who seemed to vanish without a trace from a seemingly secure environment, prompted a swift and thorough response. Campus Detective Omar Salim, a seasoned investigator with years of experience navigating the unique dynamics of university life, was tasked with leading the burgeoning inquiry. His initial assessment of Jenna's background revealed no apparent enemies, no history of running away, and no signs of distress that would suggest a voluntary departure. She was, by all accounts, a typical, well-adjusted college student. Investigators meticulously scrutinized the limited CCTV footage available. The cameras confirmed Jenna's departure from the library, capturing her silhouette as she walked out into the cool night air. However, the footage offered no further clues as to her direction or companions after she entered the campus's critical blind zone, the very stretch of pathway where she was last known to be. Her phone records were equally unrevealing. The solitary "on my way" text message stood alone, followed by a complete cessation of activity. There were no unusual calls, no frantic messages, no digital footprint to suggest a deviation from her routine. Detective Salim and his team conducted extensive interviews, speaking with Jenna's friends, her professors, and her distraught roommate, Nyla Trent. Each conversation painted a consistent picture of a bright, ordinary young woman, yet none yielded any concrete leads or theories that could explain her sudden vanishing. As the initial hours stretched into days, the search expanded beyond the immediate campus perimeter, encompassing local areas and neighboring communities. Despite these widening efforts, the results were consistently frustrating. Nothing. There was no conventional crime scene, no signs of a struggle, no witnesses who had seen anything amiss, and no indication of forced entry into her residence hall or any other campus building. The absence of evidence was not just a challenge, it was an overwhelming void, leaving investigators with nothing tangible to pursue. The frantic, immediate efforts yielded only emptiness, and the chilling realization began to set in that Jenna Whitcomb had simply disappeared. The initial frantic efforts to locate Jenna Whitcomb could not be sustained indefinitely. As weeks bled into months, the intense flurry of activity surrounding her disappearance gradually slowed. The vibrant missing person flyers, once plastered across every lamppost and bulletin board on campus, began to fade, their edges curling under the sun and rain, eventually becoming tattered remnants of a fading hope. Public appeals, once prominent in local news cycles, diminished to sporadic mentions, then to silence. The search perimeter, once expansive, contracted, and the volunteer teams disbanded, their dedication unable to overcome the overwhelming lack of any new information. Jenna Whitcomb's case, once a pressing emergency, slowly transitioned into one of the campus's most enduring and perplexing mysteries. For Detective Omar Salim, the case remained an open wound in his professional conscience. Despite the diminishing returns, he continued to review the files, poring over every interview transcript, every inconclusive CCTV frame, every detail of Jenna's life, searching for a missed clue, a subtle inconsistency that might ignite a new lead. Yet the pages offered no fresh insights, only the stark repetition of an unsolved puzzle. The absence of a conventional crime scene, the lack of any physical evidence, and the complete void of witnesses left him with nothing but questions. The psychological toll extended far beyond the investigative team. For Jenna's roommate, Nyla Trent, the empty bed, the silent phone, and the lingering presence of Jenna's belongings were a constant, painful reminder of her friend's inexplicable vanishing. The campus itself carried the weight of the unanswered questions, a quiet undercurrent of unease beneath its academic facade. Eventually, with all conventional avenues exhausted and no new information emerging, Jenna Whitcomb's file was formally moved to cold case status. It became another meticulously organized binder on a shelf, awaiting an unforeseen break, a chance discovery that might one day breathe new life into its pages. The calendar pages continued to turn, marking not just the passage of seasons, but the widening chasm of time since Jenna was last seen. 2007 gave way to 2008, then 2009, and so on. A decade passed, then another, until 18 long years had elapsed. The initial urgency had long since faded, replaced by a deep, persistent ache of an unresolved mystery, a silence that had stretched across nearly 2 decades. 18 years had passed since Jenna Whitcomb vanished, the calendar pages turning slowly from 2007 to the present day of 2025. The case, long since categorized as cold, had settled into the quiet archives of unsolved mysteries, a poignant reminder for those who remembered. Then, on an otherwise unremarkable Tuesday in a nondescript pawn shop located several towns away from the college campus, the silence was shattered. A customer, whose identity would later become a critical point of investigation, brought in a used laptop, seeking a quick transaction. It was a standard procedure. The device was old, its hard drive wiped clean of any personal data, but its casing bore a distinctive crack along the palm rest, a minor detail that had gone unnoticed by its previous owners, but would soon prove profoundly significant. As part of the routine intake process, the pawnshop clerk meticulously recorded the laptop's serial number. This unique identifier was then entered into a national database, a standard check against stolen goods. What followed was a moment of profound, almost disorienting realization. The database, after a brief processing delay, returned a match that defied the odds of time and chance. The serial number belonged to a device officially registered to Jenna Whitcomb, the student who had disappeared without a trace nearly 2 decades prior. The revelation sent immediate shockwaves, reverberating from the quiet confines of the pawn shop to the highest levels of local law enforcement and the university community. News of the discovery traveled swiftly. Detective Omar Salim, now older but still deeply affected by the unsolved case, was immediately notified. The call, arriving after so many years of silence, carried an almost unbelievable weight. The laptop, the most significant piece of evidence to emerge in 18 years, was swiftly secured, handled with the utmost care as if it were an ancient relic suddenly brought to light. Its appearance reignited a dormant investigation, breathing urgent new life into the cold case files. To assist with the unprecedented technical challenge, the expertise of Haley Coe, a highly skilled IT administrator known for her forensic capabilities, was immediately enlisted. The unassuming device, with its cracked palm rest and wiped drive, now held the potential key to a mystery that had haunted a community for nearly 2 decades. The laptop, now the central piece of evidence, arrived at the forensic lab under the watchful eyes of Detective Omar Salim and IT Administrator Haley Coe. Its existence shattered nearly 2 decades of silence, yet its hard drive, a blank slate, presented an immediate and formidable hurdle. The data had been thoroughly wiped, a common practice for resale, but one that threatened to erase any direct digital footprints of its journey or the circumstances surrounding Jenna's disappearance. Despite this challenge, hope remained. Coe, with her specialized tools and deep expertise in digital forensics, began the painstaking process of examining the device's hardware, seeking any residual data, system logs, or metadata that might have survived the erasure. She knew that even a wiped drive could sometimes hold hidden clues within its deeper architecture. Meanwhile, Detective Salim focused on the laptop's more recent past, tracing its physical journey to the pawn shop. Interviews with the pawn shop employees quickly yielded the transaction records and a description of the individual who sold the laptop. This individual, now a person of intense interest, became the immediate target of the investigation, offering the first tangible human connection to the vanished student's property in 18 years. Salim's team meticulously cross-referenced the seller's information against existing databases, attempting to establish any prior connection to Jenna Whitcomb or the college campus. The discovery of the laptop necessitated a complete re-evaluation of Jenna's disappearance. The cold case, once a static file, now pulsed with renewed urgency. Investigators began the laborious task of sifting through the 18-year-old campus CCTV footage once more. Previously reviewed with a broad search for Jenna herself, the old footage was now examined with a new lens, the knowledge that her laptop was somehow involved. They searched for any peripheral details, any fleeting glimpse of someone carrying a similar device, or any unusual activity around the time Jenna vanished, particularly within or near the critical blind spots that had initially swallowed her without a trace. The objective was clear: to bridge the 18-year gap and connect the laptop's reappearance to the unanswered questions of that fateful night. Haley Coe's meticulous work delved into the laptop's deepest architecture. Bypassing the wiped drive, she unearthed subtle BIOS time drift, minute discrepancies in the system's internal clock, and resale timestamps embedded in hardware components, remnants of its transactional history. These digital echoes, though faint, provided a precise window, effectively bracketing the handoff period during which the laptop changed hands after Jenna's disappearance. This technical feat established a critical timeline, narrowing the 18-year void to a specific few hours or days following the student's vanishing. The laptop, despite its wiped memory, had yielded its own silent testimony, detailing its journey from Jenna Whitcomb to its eventual appearance in the pawn shop. Armed with this newly established timeline, Detective Salim redirected his focus to the campus security archives from 18 years prior. His attention narrowed to the building access logs, specifically campus door swipe anomalies, recorded on the night Jenna vanished and in the critical hours that followed. These were entries that had previously been dismissed as minor system quirks or inconsequential events, lost in the overwhelming volume of daily campus activity. Now, viewed through the lens of the laptop's precise handoff period, these anomalies stood out, demanding a closer examination. When these specific door swipe anomalies were meticulously cross-referenced with the campus's original architectural blueprints, and the known limitations of the CCTV system, a startling truth emerged. The data exposed a previously overlooked or forgotten side stairwell path, a discrete route that directly bypassed the main surveillance cameras. This was the critical aha moment investigators had pursued for nearly 2 decades. The side stairwell provided a plausible explanation for how Jenna Whitcomb could have vanished between CCTV zones without a trace. It offered a hidden conduit, a blind spot within the ostensibly secure campus that connected various buildings and could have been used to divert her from her intended path. This revelation not only explained the mechanism of her disappearance, but also provided a direct, physical link for how her laptop could have been removed from the immediate vicinity of her known route. The side stairwell path connected the how of her vanishing to the what of the laptop's reappearance, finally providing a coherent narrative to the long unanswered questions. The revelation of the side stairwell path, precisely aligned with the laptop's post-disappearance handoff timeline, finally provided a coherent explanation for Jenna Whitcomb's vanishing. The meticulous work of Haley Coe, unearthing the subtle BIOS time drift and resale timestamps, had narrowed the window of the laptop's transfer to a critical period immediately following Jenna's last known movements. This digital bracket, when overlaid with Detective Salim's re-examination of campus door swipe anomalies, painted a stark picture of opportunity and access. The door swipe logs, once dismissed as inconsequential, now clearly indicated unusual activity around the overlooked stairwell entrance during the hours Jenna disappeared. This path, obscured from the main CCTV network, became the nexus of the mystery. It suggested that Jenna, after sending her "on my way" text, was likely intercepted or diverted into this hidden conduit. Her laptop, a personal extension of her, would have been taken with her, subsequently handled within the time frame established by Coe's forensic analysis. The mechanism of her disappearance, long shrouded in the blind spots of the campus, was finally laid bare. For Jenna Whitcomb's family, and indeed for the entire college community, this breakthrough offered a profound, if somber, form of resolution. While the full story of what transpired after she entered that stairwell remained elusive, and the question of who was responsible lingered, the understanding of how she vanished provided a measure of closure. The torment of an inexplicable disappearance, the endless speculation began to recede, replaced by a concrete understanding of the physical events that unfolded that night. The campus, which had for so long harbored a silent, unsettling mystery, could now begin to heal, accepting the tragic truth revealed by the intersection of old records and new forensic insight. Jenna Whitcomb's case, once a symbol of enduring mystery, became a testament to the relentless pursuit of truth. It underscored how persistent investigation, coupled with the ingenious application of modern forensic technology, could unravel decades-old cold cases. The BIOS time drift, the resale timestamps, and the overlooked door swipe anomalies, each a tiny fragment of data, converged to illuminate a path long hidden. This case stands as a powerful reminder that no cold case is ever truly beyond reach, and that even the most subtle digital whispers can, in time, speak volumes, ultimately bringing light to the darkest corners of an 18-year-old mystery.